2. The very top.
When you come up over that hill,
2, 3.
and you see the campus and all the buildings spread out before you,
4.
it gives you that special feeling.
WSU is like living in a small town.
And so you develop a camaraderie and you develop a loyalty.
The absolute best part about my time at WSU was the people. This university attracts a kind of people that are solid and well-grounded and have their values in the right place, and people that you can count on the rest of your life.
People need to be made aware of what the issues are. Before I got here, I was equally as opinionated. Ignorance is our biggest enemy, I think. But I was much less educated. And change is a scary thing.
I think it's taken the concept of teaching to a whole new level.
Above and beyond my favorite teacher.
I remember when I was in a class in my last semester of school, the professor,
Dr. Ashby.
Leroy Ashby.
Dr. Ashby handed out the review sheet, said if you have any questions tonight as you study before the final exam, call me.
That in fact, sometimes communities need witches, they need bad people, they need outlaws.
That night we were studying and we disagreed on an answer.
Any thoughts on what it might have been that would have prevented them from lying, in effect say I'm a witch in order to save their lives? Any thoughts about that? Yeah.
Well, the main reason that they would say that is because they didn't want to tarnish themselves in front of God.
I called him, I reached him, he explained it to me, thanked me for calling.
Think about it, and we'll continue trying to solve the mystery then of Salem on Monday.
I think about that experience now because I have taken that into my own spirit, because in my own job, I say, if you don't understand, please get a hold of me, call me.
We were in the large animal clinic today watching them do surgery. When we did surgery on horses, we were down on our hands and knees on the cement doing surgery. These are real medical people now. They are well trained.
She's doing real well. I mean, going along real good with the treatment. I mean, less side effects.
For women like Lola Hogan, WSU is making a difference.
Well, I wouldn't be here today if it wouldn't be for Taxol, I'll tell you.
She was diagnosed with uterine cancer recently.
I will be in Monday for my Taxol.
And Lola believes Taxol research by Washington State University scientists will help save many lives.
Hey Keith, how are you doing?
Good. These are good trees. Looks like it'll be a good prep.
Very good.
Professor Rod Croteau and several students are working toward using genetic engineering to create more Taxol, a treatment that cures some forms of cancer. But there's not enough Taxol to go around. Right now, it's extracted in tiny amounts from the Pacific yew tree.
As I walk by these trees, I hope that someday one of them will provide us the answer that we seek, and that is the increased production of Taxol for the cure of cancer.
To say that this is coming from my state and where my son graduated from, I would feel that I have part of my state internally in me, and it's keeping me alive.
Our entertainment was to have what they call fireside dances. We used to go to the Kruger Cottage at that time. Cokes were a nickel, hamburgers were a dime, and I could just barely afford it.
I was here during streaking. I can remember looking out my dorm room and having the entire streets filled with men with no clothes on. That was kind of fun.
Win the victory!
My goodness, virtually everything that we do is a product of where we've been, what we've come from.
I'm from the Mississippi Delta, a place where the blues was born.
We won't be seeing me around.
Found myself working everywhere from a construction site to at restaurants. Things didn't go right. I just needed a second chance, if you will. So, and that's what WSU, for the most part, provided for me.
The blues aren't always as bad as they may seem.
It did click. It clicked. Hey, you can write, you know. And I never knew that, because it's almost like a resource that was in me that had never been tapped.
I'm all right.
My ultimate objective is to go back to my old high school, my old district, and teach.
The future looks out of sight.
It can teach, it can illuminate, yes, and even it can inspire. But it can do so only to the extent that humans are determined to use it to those ends.
3, 2, 1, dissolve camera 1, trail out that, cue their mics, cue them.
I have a certain sense of pride going to a school where Edward R. Murrow went.
Otherwise, nothing but wires and lights in a box.
He's left a legacy for me and for my fellow graduates to live up to.
Come on and win the day for crimson and gray.
You have the bonfires before football games.
I remember coming to football games when I was little. My grandparents, my parents. It's just been a major part of life since I was little. It's just, I mean, Cougars forever.
Hi, I'm John Crane. Nice to meet you. Glad you're on campus, huh?
I've been fortunate enough in 24 years or 25 years to have over 40,000 students go through one course alone. And they're all friends. No matter where I go, I bump into these people. Whether it be in California or Hawaii or back east, there's a cougar somewhere.
Crane, you know, I kind of flubbed that last test of yours. I mean, I got a C. C doesn't mean cool for my parents. So I was kind of, you got any tips for this final exam that's coming up?
Yeah, first of all, ask your parents what they got on their first biology.
Well, you know.
I'm active in a pause group, which are first-year students, freshmen, and then we interact more on a personal basis with them. We meet with them. We talk about study habits. We talk about anything.
What's going on? What's going on personally? None of you married yet. Hmm?
I had this terrible crush on Red.
Met my husband.
I met Don on a blind date.
One of his fraternity brothers had a sister in the Kappa house, and they set us up.
He gave me my ring in the library here.
Yeah, that's right. She was just reminding me the other day that wasn't the most romantic place I could have given it to her.
We got a great education, but more than anything else, I married my best friend.
Bye, honey.
Bye. See you later.
Bye, kids.
In the morning, Valerie Garza is a mother and a wife, sending her husband off to work, her kids off to school.
Okay.
Afternoons, she often volunteers at her son's school.
What are you doing? You don't know what?
But in the evenings, she becomes a student at the Tri-Cities campus.
Even though I was being a good mother and doing all the things I needed to do and spending time with my kids, I felt like I needed something more.
Valerie opted to use her scholarship at the branch campus, one of 3 WSU runs outside Pullman, so she could stay near her family.
It's just an important aspect of, for a lot, for a community, especially for people like me, and who can't move or, have other obstacles to, overcome.
Her inspiration comes from her mother, a former factory worker, and her teachers.
I liked some of the teachers that I met who made me feel, even though despite being poor and being, of mixed heritage, then I thought, these teachers are just like me for me, you know, and they made me feel like I was intelligent, that I could succeed.
A couple of years ago, I had a student come up and say, my mother was in your class years ago. So I'm working on second generation now.
Go! And I look forward to the times that my dad could participate in Dad's Weekend and my mom could come. It was just a really wonderful experience for them. They had never come to college, so it was like living all those things through me.
I run with her every day. And actually, what's really special is to have my son here doing the same things I used to do. I'm proud of him, you know.
Thanks for the stuff, Mom.
You're welcome. Woo! Yay! Good job.
What fascinates me about that particular theory, I wanted to teach where I could deal with undergraduates as well as graduate students. If you're going to be generally trying to understand the way somebody else thinks and works and acts, you're going to have to become more tolerant, more sensitive.
And if you're frightened by difference, then you're not going to interact very well.
WSU and Japan are doing business together. Agriculture professor Tom Lumpkin was featured recently on this Japanese television show because he is growing azuki beans, a popular bean in Japan. There aren't enough farms to grow the bean in Japan, so Lumpkin is helping Washington state farmers like this one in eastern Washington to grow what the Japanese need.
How the machine's running today.
Nice to meet you.
Yes.
Kagawa.
Hi.
Recently, some Japanese businessmen came to WSU to test the azuki beans our farmers are growing.
There are growing demand for the quality of azuki, which exactly Dr. Lapkin are now conducting.
It's all part of WSU's land grant mission, a marketing program called Impact.
And you like it very much. It's good.
We've got an investment by the college of about $30,000 a year into the azuki bean, and we're exporting about $2 million worth of azuki beans as a result of that research.
I can tell you with absolute certainty, you have been shaped forever by your years here at WSU.
I think you leave here with a certain sense of belonging, with a certain sense of family.
I'm a United States Senator today because I learned during my college years to face tough challenges with courage, to take risks, not to be afraid to try, and always to dream the impossible.
And that sense of family and that sense of belonging to something special will always be with me until the day I die.
So fight, fight, fight for Washington State.